Hi everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. For those watching for the first time, welcome. My name is Dan Pardo, and this is the 12th episode of Pardo's Turn, my weekly Wednesday web series where I analyze a classic show tune from a music director's point of view, and with the help of a special guest, perhaps shed a little light on what makes the gems of our musical theater canon so great. Today is an episode that I've been looking forward to since Pardo's Turn first began. For the past 2 years, my super talented friend Joan Almedilla, known for being Broadway's longest running Kim in Miss Saigon, Imelda Marcos in the Carnegie Hall concert of Here Lies Love, and Fantine on the road in Les Mis, has been traveling the country as Lady Thiang in the first national tour of The King and I. My wife Chrissy and I were able to catch her world-class performance at the Academy of Music in Philly, and as soon as we launched the series, we knew that she had to come on the show. Pardo's Turn was made for songs like Something Wonderful. Every moment is thoughtfully composed, with a keen awareness of the characters in play and the circumstances surrounding them, without becoming too self-aware or getting in the way of the beautiful storytelling. Lady Thiang undoubtedly loves the king, but it's not always easy or even safe. As head wife, she needs to do two things above all: stay in line and tread lightly. Richard Rodgers' brilliant melody reinforces both of these ideas. In the verse, she literally spends the first 10 bars on one single note. But it's not recitative and free, it's the opposite, metered and restrictive. She's singing to Anna the way she walks her daily tightrope of life, while chromatic harmonies perilously navigate around her. When she finally does make a leap to another pitch, just prior to the main refrain, it's on the lyric, "Help and protect." The only time she falls out of line, in the verse or in her day-to-day, is when she needs to be of service to the king. Her long note, held fittingly on Hammerstein's lyric, "As long as you live," stays sure and unwavering, while the chords underneath her alternate between consonant diatonic harmonies and one particularly dissonant chord built on the 7th scale degree. As long as you live. Like wedding vows or an autocratic loyalty pledge, the music serves as a reminder that she must stand by him in both good times and bad. When we get to the song proper, each line is broken up into two parts, which we've identified in previous episodes as the antecedent and the consequent phrases, the setup and the payoff. In Something Wonderful, the two halves couldn't be more dissimilar. It starts out with a word of caution and criticism. He will not always say what you would have him say. And musically, the melody jumps back and forth in strange chromatic intervals, like a person carefully navigating a musical minefield. He would not always say what you would have him say, but now and then he'll say something wonderful, and the music changes. The consequent phrase starts out with an arpeggio straight up the major tonic, then beautifully sets up the title lyric with graceful descending leaps like she's collapsing in his arms. But now and then he'll say something wonderful. All the tension and caution has suddenly melted away. Until, of course, the next phrase begins and the cycle starts all over again. The bridge, which moves rather quickly, changes to a more stepwise melody and plays with a bit of mode mixture as well, alternating between the G natural and the G sharp for the line, "He has 1,000 dreams that won't come true." And Rodgers' choice for which words he inflected as major or minor is interesting. You would expect the king having 1,000 dreams would be the joyful part, and the fact that they don't always come true being the minor turn. But the way that Lady Thiang sings about it, the opposite seems to be the case. It just illustrates her complicated relationship with him, as well as the futility of it all, because she needs to be silent and supportive either way. As she reveals further, you know that he believes in them, and that's enough for you. Major or minor, true or false, it doesn't really matter. The last A section starts out the same, but then breaks form, leaping higher than she's ever gone with the phrase, "He'll always need your love, before retreating, and so he'll get your love. No conditions, no questions, no terms. The relationship is as simple as that. He needs and she provides. But she's not bitter or jaded or jealous. She concludes a man who needs your love can be wonderful. And the music draws to a close without any irony or doubt, loudly and squarely on the tonic en route position. Despite any misgivings, there is no question that Lady Thiang believes what she is singing here. She considers herself lucky. Tup Tim, who rejects the king, is the foolish one. Hi guys!
Hi!
Thank you so much for coming on. So we have Joan Almedilla and her son CJ Uli, who are fresh off the tour of The King and I.
Yes.
And from what I understand, CJ, you didn't miss a single performance, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
How many shows was that?
600 something.
22 maybe?
Wow, you're like the Cal Ripken of musical theater. That's amazing. So what was it like to do a show as a mother and son?
Well, we've always been working together in terms of his education.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that during the day.
So you've
And
been
then-
homeschooled even before you were on the road?
Yes.
Well, do you like that, CJ?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine there was a child wrangler for the company, or
Yes,
at least.
of course, studio teachers.
So, you know, being the mother that's actually there, do they kind of defer a few of the responsibilities, or did you kind of just pretend that you...
They were great.
Mhm.
They were really good. They were good at, communicating with, we need to work on this stuff,
Mhm.
and I appreciated it because I was, it's a constant work to raise a child.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that, and they were great.
I just did a production of Fun Home, which obviously has the 3 kids, and the parents were always kind of around, and it was a nice balancing act to find out what the maximum level of involvement and support was.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the fact that you were in the company and prominently featured as the star of the
And
company.
you said it right there, balance is a good thing,
Mhm.
because these are like a balance for me of 2 profound things, like my career and then, being a mom during the day. It was such a good distraction for me, and these were good things I'm working on.
Mhm.
So it was good. I didn't have time to whine about anything or to worry about anything. I just had to do what I needed to do.
For a role as emotionally demanding as Lady Thiang, was it nice to have kind of that family structure in place to kind of, as you said, distract yourself from the role?
Yeah.
Mm.
It was great.
And you've been on the road, what, twice before? Or at least twice before?
Twice before The King and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How did this compare, either in terms of what the schedule is like, or what what it's like to be on the road in 2018?
I was just thinking about me. Those two times about what I needed, now it's like, okay, there's another human being that needs
Right.
food, who's always hungry.
So have you done theater before this, CJ, or is this something new for you?
New.
It was new? So I know you've done, what, film, TV, or some commercial stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What do you prefer? Do you like being on stage, or do you like being behind a camera?
On stage.
Okay, I'm sorry, there's a camera over there.
It's okay.
So, Lady Thiang, is one of the classic soprano roles, and based on the rest of your resume, Fontaine and Soul Girl from Superstar, that's not where you live. What's it
No.
been like to make that transition and do a role like this?
I have been studying with a friend of mine, but I was just never confident to sing it in public, like that placement,
Yeah.
But when the opportunity came up, when I auditioned for the Muni,
Mm-hmm.
it was actually, the director wanted it, take it down,
Mm-hmm.
like way down, because he said, because I already have like 2 sopranos, and I wanted like a mother earth down here to sing and be grounded,
Yeah.
So I was hoping that would happen for the tour, but it was like that key.
Who was the director for them?
Rob?
Ruggiero?
Yes.
I've worked with him. That's like one of his go-to strategies. When we did Showboat, he did the same thing with all the
He has
Fragile
this
things.
thing about like I'm grounded.
Yes, that's like his favorite word.
Right?
Yeah.
And it actually
But
works.
a really brilliant
Like,
director.
Because the women are up here
Mhm.
like, let me bring you down, let
Uh-huh.
me bring the show down to
So you
the soil.
so you transposed the piece for the tour as well, or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I kept it the way
Good,
they
because
did it.
otherwise I have to
Center.
transpose on site. So.
I just finally said to myself at that time, you know, I'm just going to do it and not think. And I think that was a problem. I was thinking too much.
Yeah.
And it was the people telling me, you have it, but I was not convinced that I was, and I would have like, you know.
What is your kind of training, so to speak? Did you go to, did you study voice or did you study acting? Or?
No, I studied economics.
How did you break into the theater scene?
Because my Filipino parents are like, you know, you need something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I respect that.
But Filipino parents also say, sing.
Yeah, exactly. Here, sing now, right now. But I just love to perform, and every time I would say, oh, this is it, I'm gonna stop singing. Something comes up. You know,
so what was the event that kind of broke through for you?
My first break was Kim and Miss Saigon, and that was vocally I was very confident in that one because it's was right on where, you know, where I'm used to.
It also is like 2 hours straight of singing.
That's true. She never leaves the stage. But you know, if you're comfortable with it, I think the thing with Lady Thiang for me, it's the main song is on my break the whole entire time. So it's always like, okay, fine, then be careful. It's like a crystal ball. Don't drop it. Don't be lazy.
But that's also speaks to Lady Thiang as a character. She's always kind of in a moment of insecurity, and she's always like one event away from, you know, something catastrophic happening.
Right. And at the same time, she knows her power and she knows how to use it. She knows when to give it away.
What was Bart like as director? Had you worked on with him before, or?
No, this was the first time, and Bart really, and I mean this as a compliment, that he really brings out the best and the worst in you for the character's sake. Like with Lady Thiang, I'm not like, you know, I would execute some stuff for the sake of the king. Like, that is not my personality.
Right.
However, I could relate to how much I love my husband and how much I will protect my husband and, you know, my home. That I could relate to, and I held on to that all throughout the, you know, every time I do the show. But he would always make sure what his point was, because directors have the vision. You know, you think you're doing the right thing in your head as an actor, but out there it doesn't read right. So he's very specific about, you know, when you smile a little bit and I see kindness, it doesn't work.
Did he go out on the road with you at all and kind of check up on it, or?
He did visit us maybe a couple of times, and then the closing, that was nice. This is a man who thinks with his heart is not always wise. This is a man who stumbles and falls, but this is a man who tries. This is a man you forgive and help and protect as long as you live. But now
Thanks, CJ. Thanks, Joan.
Thanks for having me.
If you like videos like this, please comment, subscribe, share, and obviously like the video. We will see you next week on Pardo's Turn. Bye.
Bye.